viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Heat fans, the fast break is on. It's our Baptist Health of South Florida Heat Report with insider Anthony Chiang. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Anthony Chiang.
All righty. How you doing, baby? You feeling good?
Doing well. I'm back into the swing of things. Media day, training camp. We're working again.
Yeah. You even got Jermaine Stewart and everything now playing with the Miami Heat. A little before your time. So I know they're doing emo.
Yes.
But I liken him to Jermaine Stewart more than emo. Did anybody? How many people were talking about Jermaine Stewart?
I did not hear that one, but I heard like the lead singer of Good Charlotte, Prince, like just different things. It was
okay. You need to watch this video because I can't play it for you because stupid YouTube tags us for everything. Okay, so then they think we're copywriting everything. But Jermaine Stewart, and there's a song called "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off to Have a Good Time." I don't know if you ever heard that song. But I was really pissed at Jermaine Stewart in the 80s. It's a catchy tune. It was a hit back in the day.
Sure.
But, I'm in the 80s. I'm in my, teenage, early 20s years. I don't want to hear people trying to spread bad reports that you can keep your clothes on to have fun. No here. Okay, so that's one thing I hate about Jermaine Stewart, and then Jimmy had to bring it back.
It brought back bad memories. Yeah.
Bad memories. No. Folks, you have fun with clothes off, not clothes on. So just want you all to know that, okay? But anyway, so what'd you think of the distraction?
I mean, that's just Jimmy being Jimmy. For anybody that knows Jimmy, you know that he likes to give people a hard time and just kind of troll people, right? He's a big troll. And this is one way he did last year with the media day with his dreadlocks. This year was the emo look. This is his way of kind of poking fun, at the NBA and having the picture of him on all the promotional materials of him dressed like that. And they can't find him because he could wear whatever he wants. I mean, that could be his style, right? He could have changed styles in the offseason, so they can't really find him. But yeah, we'll see if the Heat media guide this year has a picture of Jimmy with that hair and the piercings. That should be fun. We'll see how they handle that.
You know me, I'll say the things that most people won't say, okay? It's just hilarious watching the shows across.
Yeah.
And you can tell the homophobes who are really bothered with it, and they're kind of holding back, and then they're trying to throw the PC comments out there. So I just, we see it, by the way, okay? Just so you all know, we see you. Okay, we know exactly who you are. Your faces can all tell by watching, but it's just you see the dudes that are just absolutely uncomfortable with it, and you can tell that they're holding back from actually saying what's really in the back of their minds. And I credit Jimmy for doing that. But we got plenty of time to talk about the season and what players and what roles and all that silliness down the line. We got plenty of time. I want to shed some light, and again, I'm going to go in a direction that nobody else is going to go in. Okay. I look at this as a nice big old distraction for the real problems of the Miami Heat. And the real problems of the Miami Heat is that, hey, I'm not saying fire him. I'm not saying he's got to retire. I'm not saying he's got to leave. Riles can no longer get a whale, bro. He hasn't gotten a whale. That's why I brought the 2006 hat back, because Shaq was his last whale. Wade brought the other whales in 2011, and Wade brought him freaking Butler. And one of the things that, was talked about 5 years ago, okay, and whether it was some of the local writers, some of the people nationally talking about it, oh, you're bringing Jimmy. Will Jimmy be able to get that number 2 star to come play with him? Some were arguing that, hey, Jimmy will have no problem recruiting that star. Well, Jimmy has not been able to recruit a star. Riley has failed miserably in trying to get a superstar for many, many years. And I can also say another issue is, my brother, I look at the Moss family and I look at a bunch of fucking maniacs that will do anything to win. And I'm sorry for my French, but they'll build a stadium for fun in Fort Lauderdale while they await to approve the one in Miami that they're also funding. They'll do a crazy thing with an overpaid Higuain and
Mhm.
and the French dude, the defender that they used him as as one of their three special moves. I forgot the name now. I'm brain farting now, but stupid moves. But they were spending money and they were doing anything to win. And now they bring Messi. You know, and I look at Viola and Sifu, and brother, those maniacs went and bought a Russian goaltender and gave him a ridiculous salary that I know for a fact on this. I have insight on this. Okay. The people in the front office and ownership, they knew that was going to be a bad contract, but they didn't give a shit if they won one title out of it in those
Mhm.
first couple of years when they got him. We're going to roll the dice. I look at Stephen Ross and he'll put hundreds of million into a stadium. He'll buy anything his GM needs. He'll build a brand new practice facility. He'll do all these things. And then when I look at Mickey Harrison and company, I don't see the crazed, dedication. I see penny pinching all the way down to the big three when you had to get rid of Mike Miller. And I get it. Mike Miller was toast. I
Right.
understand.
Right.
But you were pissing off LeBron. And just for pissing off LeBron, just keep him on there. But you were penny pinching. And we can make all kinds of other different things that have gone along the way where you kind of penny pinched, and maybe the white side of Wade money. Maybe you still give it away anyways. And you go over the tax and you pay and you do whatever you have to do to keep your culture, to keep your people together, to win. I gotta say that, it's nice to have Jimmy Butler's look and it's funny and we can all have a joke with it and all that. But I think we're masking the real issues of the Miami Heat. Where I gotta say, I don't think we have crazed owners that are dedicated to winning at all costs. And I have to say that the Godfather has kind of lost his touch. And it's been almost 20 years now where he hasn't landed a whale. And we keep hearing about being at the meeting and being at the meeting
Mhm.
and being mentioned and bridesmaid, never the bride. So talk to me about what I think are the real issues for the Miami Heat. And you tell me how wrong I am.
I mean, you're not wrong, right? The issue is they haven't been able to get that other star next to Bam and Jimmy or next to Jimmy. They just haven't. That's been
And Jimmy too.
the issue.
And Jimmy
Yeah,
too.
and
Let's land him too, because I think stars should recruit stars because
right,
Wade did it, right? You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
And Jimmy was asked at media day, "Do you feel like the Heat is wasting your prime and not surrounding you with the championship cast that you deserve?" And he said, "No, we're good. I believe in my guys." What is he going to say, right?
what's Spo going to say too, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
we have enough. Spo,
Exactly.
you have
They
four
have
guys,
to.
one leg. We have enough.
They have
We have
to.
enough. They can all
Um,
hop around. Okay, they're good. They can hop around. Go ahead.
yeah, they have to. And you mentioned this. I think we spoke about this last week. The Heat have tried to get Wales, right? They're in the conversation for all of them. Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, Bradley Beal, um, Damian Lillard, James Harden a few years ago. There was a conversation like 3-4 years ago. James Harden. So they are always in the conversation. They're always in the final two, final three teams. They just haven't closed the deal.
By the way, when I
Yeah.
cruise Cocoa Plum and certain parts of Coral Gables and out by the breakers in West Palm Beach, sometimes I'm also in the neighborhood too for a
Yeah.
while. I'm looking at those houses going,
But then
honey,
you're quickly out of the neighborhood.
right, but then I drive out and I'm just,
Yeah.
I filled in my
Well,
whale hunting,
My point is they want to be here, right? There's enough stars that want to be with the Heat. That's been reported. We know that. It just hasn't happened, whether it's because the Heat doesn't have the – I think the problem is this. The Heat don't have assets that –
MLS now, so we're the retirement league. So we'll get them when they're Lowry and shit like that. Is that what we're doing?
The Heat don't have the assets that teams want, right? I mean, it's kind of what it's come down to. Kevin Durant, they could have made a deal for Kevin Durant. He wanted to play here. The Heat tried. They didn't have the assets that Brooklyn wanted, obviously. He wanted to get Damian Lillard. They tried. It didn't go far because Portland had no interest in the Heat's assets. So that is the underlying problem behind all this. It's not that they're not going after these stars. It's not that they don't want to get them. It's not that they're content. It's that they don't have the assets that other teams covet. As far as the spending issue with Mickey and Nick Harrison, I know that's a popular topic on social media these days, ever since last season, really. I'll say this. I understood last year them not spending to the tax because there was no need to. They could only sign minimum guys at that point. And why go into a tax when you're not going to add when you're not a 15th player at that point that wasn't going to have an impact and wins and losses? It was just going to be depth, right? And it's not about just the money. It's about repeater tax. And I know fans don't care about that, but it is an issue. It is an issue that hurts team building. It limits you a lot. And they're going to tax team this year. They're right now on track to pay the biggest tax they have in franchise history. So there's that. But yes, I mean, again, the bottom line is it is a business. And now with the NBA's new rules, we know this, Big O, we've talked about it, that second apron is bad. Like you need to avoid that. And not because of the high tax bill, but because you basically can't make trades. You can't sign buyout players. You have no mid-level exception. You basically can't build your roster. You have what you have and you're done. So it's the rules kind of, it's not just the money, but the rules limit you. The years back.
Just years past, a lot of stuff that has gone on, dude. A lot of stuff that, as Barry Jackson put the other day, I would lose my credentials if I talked about what I knew. You know what I'm saying? And for Barry to go to the extreme he went the other day, would you like to repeat what he did? What he said?
No, I'm good. I saw the tweet. And I don't have a comment on it.
No, of course you guys don't have a comment on it because you're on the beat. But I'm just saying when I see what I see from those three other owners,
right?
They don't care, bro.
I understand that, and I know it's not. I know this.
We hear penny pinching from one billionaire, and we don't hear penny pinching from the other 3 billionaires. They never cry poor, bro. Never.
But
and forget about tax. The Moss family built $180 million stadium for fun in Fort Lauderdale, and then threw a whole bunch of money on salaries on top of that for their DPs. Now I remember the damn thing, DP. I mean, that's a lot of money, dude.
And that's great. I mean, as a kid from South Florida, as a guy from South Florida, I love that. It's good for the area. It's good for our business, right, Big O?
So they're a South Florida family.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's good for our business. It's good for the city. It's good for the community. But, and I know this is an easy retort to your criticism, so I know it's obvious and it might be lazy, but it's the truth. This is a results-oriented business. I would rather have the Heat's results over the years, even though you might say they're penny pinching, than the Dolphins, than the Panthers, than the Marlins, than InterMiami. So, like, yes, you might be, but at the end of the day, they're the most successful franchise down here by far.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm not saying to get rid of Riley. I'm just saying they're not finishing the job anymore.
Yeah, no, the last few years they have not been able to.
Kind of like what Barry wrote the other day. They're kind of just happy with winning and just winning enough and selling out the arena, and they're just fine that way. But it's just like, they could go to another extreme, and they don't go to the other extreme. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. And dude, if you were Sherman, I kind of get it. You're not really as rich as those other guys. So, you need 14 other owners and you got to make a money call and all that. But these other people, Harrison doesn't need to make a money call. Ross doesn't need to make a money call. Viola doesn't need to make a money call. The Moss family doesn't need to make a money call. They are the money, So it's just, man, that they could do a little bit more. I think what's more frustrating is you've been so close and you ruined pretty much the 4 years you've had of Jimmy. You ruined it. You were right there knocking on the door. And because maybe you're stuck on your whole Bam thing, that no, he is a star. He is a star. Yeah, you keep convincing yourself of that. Go ahead. And look what keeps happening. You keep falling short because you don't have another star. And so I think that's where my frustration is. You're right there. And brother, you can't figure out a way to cross the goddamn finish line, dude.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating. I'm sure they're frustrated, right? They wanted Damian Lillard. They thought they were getting Damian Lillard. It's not that they don't want to pay money to spend the money for him. It's, again, Portland didn't like what they had, and if Portland was going to do a trade with the Heat, they wanted everything. And the Heat were
Lillard was a coward. He didn't fight.
Well, yes, he softened his stance, and that changed everything, right? Again, we said it in July. The only thing that can get in the Heat's way of getting Damian Lillard is A, the Portland Trailblazers not want to deal with the Heat, but B, also Damian Lillard saying, well, I'll go to these other teams as well. And then the Heat's leverage is gone pretty much. It's tough because, yes, they've missed out on 4 or 5 guys in the last 4 or 5 years, but every situation is so nuanced. And I know fans don't want to hear that, but there's different things every time that you're not going to get every guy. The Heat fans are lucky they got LeBron, they got Chris Bosh, they got Jimmy Butler without cap space. Like, you can't hit on every time. And yes, they've been on a Colts.
You can't give in to Jimmy Butler forcing you to take Kyle Lowry.
Well, that's another conversation. Yeah.
Well, no, that's the same conversation because that's Pat Riley's bad decisions. That's Harrison's bad decisions because they both get to – and then you've had some other bad salaries that you've given out. And if you wouldn't have given out those salaries and stayed liquid, maybe you can at least – if you don't have assets, have the space, dude.
Yeah.
If you don't have assets, then keep the space liquid so you have the best chef in the history right now of the game. Right now. There is nobody better in the last 25 years in basketball that I've seen better than Riley is Eric Spoelstra. Nobody. There is I've never seen a guy like this. He's the Shula of basketball coaches.
Yeah, he maximizes every team he has. Yeah.
You give him anything and he makes a souffle out of absolutely. Wait a minute. I gave you roaches, a bottle of Coke, and some sugar, and you made a souffle. Like,
it's not that bad, but yes.
He's not good. He's not good.
He is.
He's not good. Okay. Right now, Riley's not that good. Right now, Harrison's not that good. Right now, their asses, and I've told you this before, their asses are constantly saved by that guy. That guy is bailing the entire franchise out over and over and over and over again. If you think Jimmy Butler's your MVP, hell nah, bitch. The MVP is Eric freaking Spoelstra. Every year that he's been a coach, he is from the big three all the way through, baby. Eric Spoelstra is the best.
Yeah, I think he's the best coach in the NBA to me, in my opinion. And every last 2 or 3 GM surveys that the NBA does, he comes out as the best. He's voted as the best NBA coach in the NBA as well. So you just ask GMs who know better than anybody, and they'll point to him as well. But you made a good point there. You brought up a good point, Big O, about the cap space option. One thing that has hurt the Heat and kind of finding that superstar is now cap space isn't as useful or the better route to build these teams, because the way the new CBA or the way CBA has been the last few years is these stars don't get to free agency. They sign extensions because they get more money from their own teams, and then they ask for a trade. All the superstars are being moved now through trades. So
now this new wave of rules are changing everything.
It changes the way you build the team. Yeah. So the Heat can't say, we're going to plan for 2026. We're going to get this cap space, and we know that Luka is going to want to come to Miami, and we're good. No, you're probably going to have to acquire Luka through a trade. So you have to figure out a way that you have enough assets at that time to be able to pull off a move like that. You can't waste them for these little transactions when you need those chips down the road for a bigger star. So,
well, hold on a second. Is the dude from Cleveland an outright free agent at the end of the year?
Donovan Mitchell? I don't know if he's a free agent or not. That's a good question. I probably should know that, but I know he's not wanting to sign the extension, but I'm not sure if he's a free agent next year. I'm looking real quick.
I thought it was all player option. He opts out, and he's a free agent next year.
Next year he's still under contract, but it'll be the last year before a player option. So it's the same thing. If he wants out of Cleveland,
he has to get traded. Okay.
Unless he plays another year after this year over there, and then opts out in 2 years.
And he has
but usually the team wants to know what's going on that final year because they want value for you, right? They don't want to lose you for nothing. So that's why usually that last year, that's when you hear the noise of Donovan Mitchell wants to trade, and he's available. It's the landscape has changed, and that's not an excuse, but it's reality.
Yeah, it's just that's to me, that's the bigger picture of all of this.
Yeah,
is that I know they're going to have another terrific season. I know they're going to overachieve. Barring injuries, of course, that can derail any season for any coach of any time, of any era, any decade, whatever. But outside of that, I know they're going to overachieve because they have Eric Spoelstra. And sometimes I think that they, up top, especially in the ownership side, we're all right. We got Eric Spoelstra. He'll make it better than what it really is. You know what I'm saying? And I just, we're ruining Eric Spoelstra's years. We're ruining Jimmy Butler's years. You're not getting that other star. You're asking him to do miracles with one guy who is a star, but even that, he's a 2-point star in a 3-point world.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
You're asking him to be a lunch bucket guy in, a limousine world. And it's really tough, dude.
I think this summer was especially tough because, yes, he missed out on guys in the past. But even Tyler Hero said it on media day, right, on Monday. He said, these rumors felt a little more real than the others. Like, he felt like this felt real. Like, he wanted to be in Miami. He only wanted to be with the Heat. It seemed like the Heat were going to get him. Usually when a star like that wants to be on a team, he usually gets there. And we all expected it. We all said it's a matter of when, not if. And he's not here. And you're pretty much left with the same team, minus Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, 2 starters from last season's playoff run. Yes, you got Jay Rich, you got Thomas Bryant, but it's a blow because you expected something big and you really got nothing.
Yeah. For Tyler, to me, it's just about staying healthy with him, dude.
Yeah, he's talented. Yeah,
he's a fine player. I don't have a problem with him. He's a scorer. He's fearless of any moment. All those kind of things. My problem with him has been durability now. That's been his real problem. And if you can't be counted on, and one thing that the Heat has moved on with, and by the way, I know the Strus and the Gabe Vincent, they'll overcome that. Watch. You're going to see Highsmith. You're going to see either Jovic or Jaquez. And you're going to see other guys elevate their games, and Spo will do what Spo things do, bro, all the freaking time. You know what I mean? But in the end, this league is driven by stars, the guys that can impose their will on you, whether you like it or not. And they only have one of those guys. Yeah. And that's, unless Caleb Martin plans on taking the next step and saying, hey, F all of you, I'm taking over.
I'm an all-star caliber player, right? Instead of just a role player, really good role player. Yeah. And the thing is, they're facing now teams with Milwaukee of 3 stars and 2 of the top 10 players in the league, and Boston, who we'll see how. I'm kind of in a wait and see mode with Boston. They lost a lot to get Drew Holiday, and Drew Holiday's a good player, very good player. But you lose Marcus Smart, you lose Rob Williams. Those are 2 of their best defenders, and their rim protector. Is Kristaps Porzingis going to stay healthy? So no, Boston, I'm not as sure.
You could trade for him. That's what he did last year.
Right. That's it. He had his healthy. No, so that's why Milwaukee, if they stay healthy, they are, to me, the best team in the East.
By the way, Joe Cronin ended up on top.
He got a good package. Can't argue that.
He got a lot in return for a guy that very few people can take on that salary.
Yeah.
So it was a very small amount of people that were going to be able to take on that salary or needed that guy with the salary. And you were able to unload him. And then once you made the holiday deal, you got several big men now.
Yeah.
Now you got all the meat that you needed in the middle of the lineup to go with all the edge players that you already had. So,
3 first-round picks, pick swaps. Like he got a good haul. He killed the relationship with the best player in franchise history in the process. But hey, business is business, right? Yeah,
it's the best thing for the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yeah.
And so if you're a fan, you have to say, wow, this kind of sucks, but he did the best thing that he could possibly do for the Portland Trail Blazers. So in hindsight, he got the last laugh when it's all said and done. So
I agree.
We all thought he was going to get clowned, and he did all the clowning on everybody else. So it is.
You got the last laugh, that's for sure.
What do you got going on in the Herald so folks can check you out, my man?
Yeah, today I have 2 stories up. One on Bam and Jimmy saying they're ready to surprise people again, and obviously saying they don't believe they know there's skeptics out there, but they've done it before and they're gonna exceed expectations and prove people wrong again. So this is their comments from me today on the narrative surrounding the team right now. And then 2, we talked to Kyle Lowry today after the first training camp practice in Boca at Florida Atlantic University. And Kyle Lowry said he expects to be the Heat's starting point guard. And he was adamant about that. I asked him, are you going to be disappointed if you're playing off the bench then? And he didn't answer the question directly, but he just said, I don't expect to be playing off the bench. I expect to be a starter. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out because, yes, I could see a world where he is a starting point guard opening night, but I don't think that's a given. I think there's a chance that he plays off the bench this season. We'll see how he handles that. All right, I see it now. Okay. I could see it.
You can see it. You can see it. Dude, it's what we call a dead freaking ringer, bro.
Does he have the piercings?
Huh?
Does he have the piercings? Like,
remember, this is the 80s.
True. Okay.
It wasn't in fashion in those days. That's the thing. It wasn't in fashion. Here we go. Dude, I'm going to give you one that's even better right now. Here we go. I'm going to give you another one.
Jimmy just took it to another level.
Huh? Right,
Jimmy just took it to another level.
Remember, he's like, this is decades behind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the hair for sure. There's no doubt.
I'm telling you, that's where that's where it's Jermaine Stewart. It's the hair.
No
that's what I'm not the piercing. I can't go to the 80s. I can only go so far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that's
the hair. Yeah. Jimmy had the hair, the piercings, the eyeliner, his nails painted black, and then today at training camp, his hair was braided again. So the emo phase didn't last long.
So now your homework is you have to now watch the video. Okay?
I'll watch that.
We don't have to take our clothes off. That's it.
Watch
it. It's so 80s. And then you should actually show it to Jimmy. The next time you see him, have it on your phone and say, hey, was Jermaine Stewart an inspiration at all? And see if it'd be interesting to see if he even knows who it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's a song that I don't know if it's still played nowadays. Because you didn't know it, right? You still don't know it.
I didn't know it, no.
You don't know. You still don't know it. But maybe when you hear it, because I can't sing, maybe when you hear it, you're going to go, oh, dude, I think I have heard that song. So just send me a text after.
I'll show him. Okay. I'll show him. I'll get back to you.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chiang. As always, my brother, I appreciate you. We will catch up later in the week, sir.
Thanks, Big O. Have a good day.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat Report with Anthony Chiang is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net.
This is the Big O Show. This is the